Well, hello there, folks. Hope you're doing well. In this video, we're going to be talking about Chapter 7.5, Classifying Lines and Angles. And you'll find this on page 196 of your workbook. So let's start off with a try of these. Name the parallel sides in each quadrilateral. So, first of all, in this one we have AD is, so side AD is parallel to, you do that, you show that something's parallel by doing two straight lines. Those are supposed to be straight lines up and down with BC, and AB is parallel with CD. There we go. And in this one, there are only two parallel sides. EH is parallel to side FG. You'll notice that these other two are not parallel. Many flags have parallel lines, which are always the same distance apart. That's what makes something parallel. It's two lines that will continue on forever in either direction, yet never meet. And there are also perpendicular lines, which are at right angles. This here is the flag of the Franco-Yukonnais community, which is the French-Canadian residents of the Yukon. The colors are blue, so this darkest part is blue, the white is just white, and this lighter gray is a yellow color. Which lines inside the flag are parallel? Mark them using arrowheads. You'll notice that on our the first try these here, there is one arrowhead for the first set of parallel lines, two arrowheads for the second set, etc. So that's what we're going to do too, except we're going to get up a lot further, and I've switched to red so it shows up a little better. So our red lines are going to be, these outside lines, they're parallel, so we're going to mark it with one arrow. These other lines are also parallel. We'll use it with two arrows. However, there's more parallel lines. These ones, so this one is parallel to this line, so I'll mark it with three arrows, which is also parallel to this, which is also parallel to this. And there's one more set of parallel lines, this one right here. I should have not chosen the shortest one to have the most arrowheads. So there we go. So these two lines are parallel, these two lines are parallel, these two lines are parallel, and these four lines are parallel. Number 2 now says, label the corners of the rectangular flag ABCD and then name two pairs of parallel sides. So we'll just call it, let's go the same way they did and try these. So ABCD. And then we'll name some parallel sides, two pairs of parallel sides. So AB is parallel to CD. And AD is parallel to BC. Wow, it's exactly what we put in the last one. And name two pairs of perpendicular sides. A perpendicular side, once again, is one that makes a 90-degree angle. Since this is a rectangle, we have four 90-degree angles. We actually have multiple 90-degree angles going on in here as well. But we'll take it easy. We'll use the outside lines. So line AD is perpendicular, and the way we do that is by drawing an upside down T, perpendicular to line AB. And line DC, or CD, usually you do it in alphabetical order, is perpendicular to line BC. You'll notice they share a corner, so A and C. Perpendicular lines sometimes will share a corner, not necessarily always, but in this case, they do. Now let's complete the following statement. In a rectangle, the opposite sides are parallel, and the adjacent sides are perpendicular. Number 5 says, draw a flag that does not include parallel or perpendicular lines in its interior design. I'll leave that to you if you want to do that. And something to just reflect on. Do perpendicular lines have to be horizontal and vertical? No, they don't, because if we, for example, look here, once again, this line here is perpendicular to this line here, but they're at a diagonal. They are not horizontal nor vertical. Yeah, so that's the first part there. Now it's time to learn a few more definitions. I'm assuming that perpendicular and parallel was a refresher for you. So let's move on. Many angles are formed by two lines and a transversal. Below we have lines P1 and P2, and they're intersected by line T, a transversal. So that's this line right there. Any line that intersects two or more lines is called a transversal. Name all 8 pairs of adjacent supplementary angles. A supplementary angle, if you go all the way back to 7.1, I guess, is 7.2, pardon me, is two angles whose sum is 180 degrees. So I want to name basically the angles that are next to each other on a straight line. My first group is going to be this one right here. So angle 1 and angle 2 is going to be 1. Angle 2 and angle 4 is going to be 1. So angle 2 and angle 4. Angle 4 and angle 3 is going to be 1. So angle 4 and angle 3. And angle 3 and angle 1 is going to be 1. Angle 1 and angle 3. So that covers this one. Let's move on to here, down here. Angle 5 and angle 6 is going to be supplementary, or are going to be supplementary angles, because once again, they make a 180 degree angle when they are added together. Angle 6 and angle 8 are going to be supplementary angles. Angle 8 and angle 7 are going to be supplementary angles. Once again, I should have done that in numerical order, but that's fine. And finally, our last one, angle 5 and angle 7. You're probably going to want to put a bookmark in this section, because we're going to be referring to these definitions that are coming for the rest of the chapter. Pairs of angles can be described in other ways as well. We have corresponding angles. Corresponding angles are two angles formed by two lines and a transversal located on the same side of the transversal. So what that means is, let me clear out this right there. So what that means is, if I look at this guy, a corresponding angle to number 1 is going to be the one that's in the same position over on this side, 1 and 5. 2 is going to correspond to 6, 3 is going to correspond to 7, and 4 is going to correspond to 8. The next angles that we need to know are opposite angles. Opposite angles are non-adjacent angles that are formed by two intersecting lines. So they are like on opposite sides, basically. So our example here, 1 and 4, they're on opposite sides of this intersecting line. 2 and 3, 5 and 8, 6 and 7. Those pairs are all opposite angles. The next definition, alternate interior angles. So alternate angles are two angles formed by two lines and a transversal that are located on opposite sides of the transversal. So the alternate interior angles are this one, 3, and the one that's on the opposite side but inside the two lines, 6. The other pair is 4 and 5. We then also have alternate exterior angles, and it's just the same. My alternate exterior angles are going to be 1 and the one outside opposite, 8, and then 2 and 7. So these pairs go together. 1 and 8 go together, 2 and 7 go together. And with that information, obviously this is going to be easier now in your textbook when you can see the whole paper. It wants us to write down those answers. So maybe I should have been doing it while we were there, but I thought it was good to be able to kind of see the lines while talking about it. So, writing down what I talked about. My corresponding angles, those were the ones that were formed by two lines and a transversal. So, we had 1 and 5, 2 and 6 were given to us. So we have to do the other ones, 3 and 7, 4 and 8. So that's what we'll write. So angle 3 and angle 7 is our first pair, and angle 4 and angle 8 is my second pair. My opposite angles, it says look on the opposite sides of the transversal. Well, whatever. So they gave us angle 1 and angle 4, and angle 2 and angle 3. So they gave us the top ones up here. What that means is that we need to get the bottom ones then. So the bottom ones are 5 and 8 and 6 and 7. So we'll write that down. So we have angle 5 and angle 8 is our first pair. And our other pair is angle 6 and angle 7. Next, we have our alternate interior angles. So we were given angle 3 and angle 6. And so our other pair is angle 4 and angle 5. So that's what we're going to put in this one here. Angle 4 and angle 5. And then our alternate exterior angles, we were given angle 1 and angle 8, which means we're left with angle 2 and angle 7. So that's the last thing that we put here. So angle 2 and angle 7. In the end, it's going to be just a lot of definitions. So once again, I would really recommend bookmarking this page right here so that you can refer back to it while going through the example questions in the other sections of this chapter. So hopefully that makes sense. If you have any questions, let me know. Hope you have a fantastic day. I'll talk to you later.